What's up, guys? Ron from Rohde Law, and in this video, we're going to talk about Fox News settling the big lawsuit against Dominion. And if you don't know about this, this was basically a defamation case. Very interesting for somebody to bring this case against a news media. This is a journalistic source. Whether you love or dislike Fox News, they are still traditional journalism. Anyway, there was a claim of defamation, basically that after the election, Fox News allowed and acknowledged and maybe even encouraged false statements, materially false statements that damaged the business prospects of Dominion voting systems. Now, fast forward, this has been going on for 2 years. The attorneys have been trenched in this fight, and it just broke that Fox News settled this case for $787 million. What does that mean? I mean, as a lawyer, I can say that settlement is always on both sides' minds. Nobody wants to go to trial, and with the uncertainty, the public being dragged in, it's really like for Fox News, right? It's being tried on two different venues. First, you have the court case. You're in Delaware, you're in front of the judge, you got to argue the law, the facts. And then there's that second trial, which is the court of public opinion. And nobody wants to be doing this dance or this fight. You cannot win a war on two fronts. And that's exactly what would have happened if Fox went to trial. They would have had to fight a war on two different fronts. And I'll tell you, in history, it ends badly for those countries. So back to this settlement, though. How much money does this actually mean? I mean, it sounds like a lot, but let's look at Fox News. Their annual net income, $1.2 billion. This is actually just for a quarter, though. They're making $1.5 billion, $1 billion. So this is per year. Yes, it's a lot of money, but I think from a quarterly revenue, what does this mean? I can't even tell. You can see they're trending. They're making a ton of money. $13 billion in revenue every year, 14 now. The point is that this was an amount that they could afford to pay to avoid going through the public debacle and exposing all of their executive text messages, their emails, because at the end of the day, one of the biggest motivators for parties to settle a case is whether the principals are embarrassed. And I'll say it again, because the biggest motivators for solving or settling a lawsuit is if the principals are going to be embarrassed. And I think that's really a big part of this motivation, was that through discovery, the Dominion attorneys got very, very broad discovery allowed. So they were able to look at a lot of emails, a lot of internal communication in real time as these other guests were appearing on Fox News. And that was so embarrassing, so damaging to Murdoch and the other executives at Fox, that they had the power, right? They have the cash, they have the ability to settle. And now they have the will. Now they want to settle to avoid that being dragged out into public. There's also a very weird situation in that normally there is some value ascribed to the defendant issuing a public apology or a retraction, something that admits to wrongdoing and tries a little bit. We all know it's pretty fake and they don't mean it, but at least you have a nice piece of paper that you can say, look, Fox News apologized. They admitted that they lied. They didn't have this in this case. So it's a little bit curious that, it's probably just a release, but if they were going to pay such a big amount, they were also not going to apologize or retract any of their statements. And again, if you think about the core of Fox News, it's these viewers who are really trenched in and they want to hear this. So regardless of the outcome and everything that we know to be true, I think it just proves you cannot trust mainstream media. And I don't know where you get your news, whether it's now from Twitter. I mean, I'm on Twitter all the time. YouTube's not great, but at least we're getting real-time information from commentators that have your best interest in mind, and we don't have this huge financial machine, a 12 or $14 billion machine. They are promoting their own interests when they're reporting the news. So That's it for this Lawyer Reacts. I mean, I think this case was super interesting. It is an eye-popping number. It's more income than Dominion Voting Systems has ever brought in as a company, but that doesn't matter, right? They got lucky in that Fox decided to attack them with known false statements. They got to prove malice through their discovery, and they were just in the right time at the right place. Not a bad way to get cool $250 million. So smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.